Hello everyone, my name is I'm indie game developer from Lepozhdian, and this is the tutorial how to create in-game time counter. So let me show you. Here is my custom console command. From the left, from the top, we can see a statistic, play time, some days, hours, minutes and seconds, and I will show you how to create such timer, and moreover I will show you how to create and save and load system so we can continually track our playtime progress. I'm sure you will get a lot of ideas how to use this timer, so let's get started. I'm gonna use the standard third-person template. The only thing that I made is created a folder named like Lepozhdian tutorials, and let's do the magic. Okay, let's create a folder named like game time counter. And let's start from the widget user interface, widget blueprint, game time counter widget. So let's add a panel vertical box and two texts inside our vertical box. Okay. As for vertical box, let's make anchors to mid, position x and y 0, 0, alignment 0.5, 0.5, size to context. As for the text block from the top, let's change the name to played time. Make size much more bigger so we can clearly see it. As for the second text, you may change for any value, any text, it really doesn't matter. Make it also bigger, so that's it. As for the widget, we are done. So the key for this timer, we're gonna use the game instance. So blueprint class game instance. Game instance is name it as you want, or maybe you already have one. I will name it like custom game instance. Game instance is the only class that exists between the levels. I mean, when you open the level, basically you play the gameplay logic. You do some variables changes, and for example, you completed the level 1, you go to the level 2, and each time you transfer between the levels, the data that you achieved is erased. So we need to do some tricks, like basically two of them. First one, we need to constantly create save and load slots to save our game progress, and the second, we can use the game instance. So the game instance can store the variables, and each time when we travel between the levels, the data will stay the same. So that's why we're gonna use the game instance. So basically we create our timer when we start the game, so basically begin play. However, game instance doesn't have begin play event, but it has such event as init, initialize. So basically it's like equal begin play. So when we initialize our component game instance, we do a sequence. First, we create a widget. Create widget. As for the tutorial purposes and for the testing purposes, I will create our widget inside game instance. However, you shouldn't create any widget inside game instance, because it's basically wrong. You should store like any widget inside your player controller. So if you're planning to create some multiplayer stuff, you should create widgets from your player controller. So we create a game timer counter widget, add to viewport. And of course you shouldn't create widgets from your level blueprint. I mean, like blueprints, open level blueprint. Forget about this window. level blueprint. Do not code anything inside of it. It's really bad practice to use level blueprint for any logic. Okay, so we create a widget. Let's go to our timer. So let's create a variable called like time, make it integer. So when we start the game, we get our time and do the increment. What is this? I basically just type ++ and I got this thing. So increment is basically this logic. So we get a number and we get our number and do +1 or minus if we get like this for float also. And okay, and we just set it. Basically this macro is the same logic, do the same logic like this. Is this the standard Epic Games macro? So get number +1 and set it. So just nice and clean, that's it. Okay, so let's continue. We get our time, do the increment, one number +1, and then we do delay for 1 second, and we do the repeat of such increment. So basically we created a timer and infinity loop. Okay, so let's go back to our widget and make a binding for our text. Create binding. So we set text. We do set text, and inside set text we will call a function. Let's name it like convert function, convert time. Make it pure. So we go back to the text like this. Okay, so inside our function we create the output variable. Let's it be text and name readable text. Readable text. What we're gonna do inside this function, we get our game instance. Let's do a cast to custom game instance. Make it also pure, and we get our time and plug it to the output. So, and inside our binding, like set text, we get our function, we get our readable text and plug it. Okay, let's close and test. So basically we need also, don't forget to go to our project settings, maps and mods, and apply our custom game instance. Otherwise it won't work. So we can play and we will see nothing. Why? As I said, we shouldn't create a widget like in this manner on the initialize. You should create all widget from play controller. This is actually quite old issue of engine. Sometimes begin play doesn't affect, so we need to create a small delay. Like too fast, we trying to do a lot of things before the initialization completed. Okay, so we added some small delay for 1 second, for example, and here we go. We get our time. So let's do the convert time function. So let's get rid of this node. And as for the readable text, we create marvelous things such as format text. Format text is a custom like macro, I would say, that allows you to create an extra inputs inside of it. So we create curve figures, name it any way you want, like will be days. So each time we create you know, create curved figures, and we create an extra input. So days, hours, minutes, seconds. And as for like the other text that outside the bounds of the figures is simple text. So let's create like d/h. Okay, something like this. I will use the format, you know, to avoid such things that like add some extra text like for the hours, for the minutes, for the seconds. It's just one of the way, you know, to optimize them. Okay, so let's get our time. Let's do the conversion. So in one day we got 3,600 seconds. So we do the division for 3,600, and each time we reach our time reach this value. Each time like each 44 time, I would say. And we just plug it like for the days. For the hours, in 1 hour we got 60 minutes, and in 1 hour we got 60 seconds. So we do the division for 60 seconds. And I will also add a percent for 24. When we add the percent, I mean when our hours like reach 23 and 24, it goes from the 0. You got it? So the days, the number will be increased infinity, like 5,000 days, like something like this. And as for the hours, it will be limited for 24. Okay, as for the minutes, we also, in 1 minute we got 60 seconds. Okay, so we do the division for 60, and each time we reach 60, we do the percent for 60, so we go back to 0 minutes. And as for the seconds, we'll simply just percent it, so each time it goes to 60, it goes to 0. So that's it. The timer is the conversion function is ready. So let's also do some extra debug. Go to our third person character. Let's create key event for 1. So we do some extra time at game instance, custom game instance, time get, time set, and the amount, for example, 3,600. So basically one day. Okay, let's test it. Okay, we got our texts converted thanks to format function. let's add some house. So each time we reach, like, 24, it goes back to 0. Okay, basically that's it. If you know what to do next, I mean, you're familiar with save and load system, so you can leave this video now, but don't forget to leave me some comments and feedbacks, what you like, what you would also to see, and also you can get these files from my Patreon page and support my Patreon page. And for the rest of you guys, let's continue. I will show you some other cool things, how to optimize game save and load. Okay. So let's basically close these two things. So save and load system. We need to create a save and load place storage. Name it like this. So go to Blueprint class and search save game. Okay, save, create, name it as you want, like saves. Open it, and basically probably you get used to, like, or maybe not, to get to create a variable that you will save, like time, but name it like saved, and integer. And basically when we work with saving variables, we get it and we set it, so we make it the save. When we load, when we do the load, we get and also set. Basically that's it. It's simple, but the problem is when we get a lot of variables to save, like we get an endless list of variables, and it's from some period of time it's getting a really pain to save all these variables. So I will show you how to avoid such thing. So basically we're gonna use the magic of blueprint structures. So let's create a blueprint structure. Name it like saved variables, or variables to save. I would say like this. Variables to save. Okay. And inside of this we create a bunch of variables that you want to save, but we need just for start a one. Let's name it integer and name it like time. Okay. So basically when you work with structures, you do the same logic, but the only thing that you save is one structure, that you save it and load only one structure, and that's it. After that you get variables that you need. So we go back to our saves, create a variable, name it like the name of our structure, variables wrong name, variables to save, variables to save, variables to save. Okay, let's name it like variables saved. The name is you guessed, you can name is any way you want. So when we're gonna take our begin play event or event init and create some logic. Does save game exist? Which one? Let's make a literal string, name it like saves The name can be any, just literally. Thus we have save game slot. If true, then we should what? Load it. Load game from slot. Which slot? This one. The saves. The user index you can leave the 0, doesn't really matter. Load game save slot, and we need to do cast to our saves and promote to variable. Okay, we promote to our variable, and we get our saves, we get variables saved, and we get from there our time, and we set to our current time, like this. And then what we do, we just continue our logic. So we create widget and start the timer. Good. Does save game exist? If not, then what we're gonna do? Create save game object. Which object class? Saves. As the name of our that we create. Here we don't need to do cast because the class is the same. So we just simply set variable, and without anything else we continue our main logic. Okay, and let's create an event, custom event, to save our variable. Save game time. So we get our saves variable, so we initialize our variables from init event. We get our saves, we get our variables, and we do set member. So we set member is the coolest thing, that you can set only a specific variable, like choose one, for example, like this. If you're gonna do like simply set variables, you need to, to specify all these variables. So better use set members. Okay, we get our time, we set it, and we need to close our saving. So we told that we complete the save, so we create save slot, save game to slot. Okay, save game object. What this? We're gonna take our variable, which slot name? This one, saves. So I just use make literal string, one variable for each of them to avoid any mistakes. So basically that's it. All we have to do is to figure out where we should or where we would like to call this event. Basically it's up to you. So we can create a button inside of our widget. So like for example, save, quick event, game instance, custom, save. Or we can call this event each time when we do the increment, or we can call this specific event when we close the game. I mean, we got init event, so basically we should get event shutdown. When we shut down, we also try to call this event. I would personally use event shutdown or the custom from the place that you want. For example, you got a menu when you save, and then you basically when you save the game. I wouldn't use like this, yeah, but it's up to you. So let's play. So we played some seconds. Okay, we close the game, again play it, and our timer is continuous. So we can add some extra hours, 22 hours and 35 seconds. Okay, it skipped some seconds because of the delay that I added from the beginning, so we basically wait for 1 and 2 seconds. Okay, so Monday, Sunday, that's it. The timer is ready, and I'm sure you will get, as I said, a lot of ideas how to use it, and that's it. You can get these timer materials from my Patreon page. You can also support me on my Patreon page, and leave me some feedback, comments, what also would you like to see, maybe some other extra tutorials. You can also join me on my Patreon page and get the game that I already created for VR. You can get it for like $1, and also you can get some insights about the game that I create, and be part of my community, of our community, and see some cool things, I would say. So basically that's it. I hope it was useful for you, and I wish you have a nice day, and see you later. Bye.